Welcome to the Seraphiend podcast. I'm Serafina Rocha, and I'm with my lady, Chelsea Atia. How are you, beauty?
I'm good. I'm excited to talk about this.
I am too. We have a double dose episode. It's You Slept...
Who slept at your house?
Who slept at your house? And the other one is...
Get dessert and bail.
Get dessert and bail. My brain is like, oh my Lord. But
Sorry.
these two are such great episodes. We're going to dive right on in. Right, let's go. We start out with this interesting moment with Kristen and Brody.
Yeah.
And we see Audrina's in the car. But oh my Lord, the conversation with Kristen and Brody was very flirtatious.
It was. I mean, talking threesomes with Audrina.
Yes.
And
then the kiss
asking
me.
about kiss.
I mean, I do think I do.
Are you going to kiss me?
I love their chemistry, but I also think it was a little weird being like the fact that she had talked to Audrina earlier and Audrina's like, oh yeah, we're hanging out. And then she sees that she slept over or at least spent the entire night with him.
Yeah.
It was funny, but it was also like, that's when I have to question on the show if this is organic or storyline.
Yeah.
Because if they're truly friends, I would never be that flirty with someone that way. But then in the next, they have, I don't know. What was your thoughts and feelings about this whole exchange between these two?
I think they just like to flirt with each other.
They really
I don't
do.
think it was anything serious,
No.
but and I don't think that they would ever date, really.
No.
But they just like to flirt. Kristen is a huge flirt.
She
anyways.
is.
She
She
must
is.
be a Libra.
She's so funny. I just love how she's like always got a little cocked eyebrow.
Yes.
She cracks me up. And then I have to say, I do love Audrina's love for her Yorkie and the Yorkie hair. That was super cute.
So cute.
It was too cute. They're all packing for Tahoe.
Which everyone went to Tahoe, and I
Everyone
think it's
did.
because COVID. I
Yeah.
mean, everyone's going there.
And I also think that they probably, Tahoe was like, all right, how do we get more people to come here?
Yeah.
We're going to contact Bravo, MTV, all of the producers. Let's bring everyone to Tahoe because the
Yeah.
Kardashians, the Real Housewives, and now the Hills people
Mm-hmm.
all went there. So then we have Spencer and Heidi already dreading this trip.
yeah.
I mean, already dreading this trip. And I don't know, how they left it at the Kristen soiree. I
Yeah.
felt like it could have been okay. I don't know, if they got like talking or gossip or something
Yeah.
that they heard. I don't know. I don't
I'm
know.
sure. But, we've talked about before that we love Heidi and Spencer and their relationship and their loyalty to each other. And I do. But I feel like in these two episodes, I saw a lot of them from the regular Hills days.
Yeah.
And you know what? We'll get into the Jason thing, which I don't agree with how Spencer handled that at all.
It was a low blow.
It was a low blow, but him explaining it afterwards about how
Totally made sense.
it made sense. He's like, I am so protective of Heidi, and if you like come after her or marriage in any way, like you're going to see a side of me
Yeah.
that you don't want to see.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and we'll dig into it a little more. I feel like, when everyone is arriving in Tahoe, there's a lot of tensions because we've got Caitlin who's kind of like getting suspicious about Audrina and Brody,
Yes.
and not so much about them presently. It's about when we were together and our marriage was having problems and, we're all hanging out and you guys are staying up late with
that
the
would
cocktails.
be not okay.
It's uncomfortable. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I mean, as a adult married woman now, I mean, I hang out with Aaron and his girlfriend Gracie all the time. And there are times that we're out hanging out late. But there comes a point where even if I'm in great conversation with Aaron and Gracie's in great conversation with Johnny, there is this sense of like an honor code of like, okay, this was good, but let's like piece out the conversation.
Well, and if like everyone's asleep and you're staying up late and you're talking to, I think that's a little inappropriate.
I totally think
especially if you've hooked up before.
Yeah, no. I'm not into it, and I think Caitlin had every reason
did.
to be like a little weirded out.
Do you want to know something, like a fun fact about Caitlin?
Yeah.
She's pregnant.
Yes, I did see that, and
With Chris. I
That's
think
crazy.
it's Chris, the guy that she's talking about in these episodes. Something that I also want to talk about after, like once they get to Tahoe, the awkwardness with Caitlin and Caroline, because Caroline can sense it, and I kind of agree with her. She's like, just be real with me, just tell me what's going on. I feel like I should have never even told you. But Caitlin was like kind of cringe with Caroline because they're like getting in the van to go somewhere, and Caroline's like, I'll sit in the back with you. She goes, no thanks.
I thought that, yeah. And again, this is where I think people get a little weird. I'm like, for someone like Caitlin who, you know, experimented and again, you know, whether she experimented or she's completely bi, I don't know what her relationship is like with Chris, but to treat her friend that way, and when Carolyn's not like, she's not being creepy or weird.
No.
She's just saying, can we just go back to being friends?
Yeah.
And
I think she feels like awkward now.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel for her.
Me too. Because, she seems like a sweet girl.
Yeah. And she was being vulnerable. And then, you know, but I see a little bit of a parallel though with how Audrina and Caitlin have this talk. And Audrina's pretty dismissive to her at first. And all she can think about is her and her friendship with Brody. And I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah.
What about your friendship with Caitlin here?
Exactly. Yeah. And I liked that Audrina like thought about it. She was like, you know what, I really feel like I didn't handle that correctly, and I did. And so I like that kind of self-awareness.
I did too, but it was really only in her interview.
That's true.
I was like, I was looking for Audrina to go to Caitlin, but I didn't see that. I don't remember seeing her.
I know they had another conversation, but I remember
it laid stale with me.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree.
So then we have you know, this arrival, and Heidi actually walks in.
Oh my gosh.
And it's funny, I think I have done this quite a bit in my own. I do it more so, I think, with family members or old friends.
Yeah.
To where if I know they're talking shit, I'm like, hi, I'm right here.
Yeah.
You know, but the way she did it was so
bad timing.
Bad and so cringe.
Yes.
And
they were having a really like
it was
intense moment
about Ashley's
dad. And, you know, because he's buried close to Tahoe, and they're talking about going to see him and stuff. And she's pregnant. She's more emotional than normal, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And Heidi to come in like that, I'm like, girl, no, you don't want to do this right now. Because I totally see what you're saying too. When you walk in and a group of girls are like talking and you feel like it's about you, you're gonna get defensive.
Totally. And it's just like, you know, again, there's so many parallels with Real Housewives and The Hills.
Yeah.
P.S. The face roller comes back into play. Did you see that Ashley used the face roller while talking to Jason?
Oh, I didn't see that.
Totally.
Oh,
I was like,
gosh. It must be a thing. Do I need to do that?
I've got to get. Kourtney Kardashian uses it too, and Poosh, I guess
does?
so. But anyway, I think it's pretty interesting because this. Let's go to the graveyard scene.
Yes.
This was interesting because Audrina really chooses sides here. I mean, I feel like from the gender reveal party to accompanying her on this and like leaving everybody, she really is in this Team Ashley zone.
She is, yeah.
Which makes it, it's totally felt by Heidi. Mm-hmm. And I don't know.
And if you don't know Heidi and Spencer, loyalty is everything to them.
Yeah.
Like if they sense that you're not loyal, which they sense everyone is not loyal at the end, like they're done with you.
Yep. And
you can't change their
they'll
mind.
burn down that house.
Oh yeah. They all at the end of the day, which is kind of cool, they know that they have each other and that's all they really need.
Yeah.
I kind of love that.
I really do like the relationship. I think Brody tries to give forewarning.
Yes, he does.
Very much so to Jason, to let him in on the fact of like, look, dude, I think you should have this conversation about your discomfort with Spencer, alluding to the fact that, you know, you may or may not be sober.
Right.
And don't approach him when he's having a good time or he's drinking.
In front of people.
And I think Brody's intention was like to clear the air.
Yeah.
But I also think that Brody, it has a little bit of Audrina in him to where I'm like, you can't just light a match and put it in a briar patch and not be like, well, it had to be done. It's like, actually, you kind of instigated this and you probably should have stepped in and said, maybe Spencer didn't mean it this way, or Spencer, man, I felt weird about you saying this. Like, what did you really mean?
Yeah.
But he tries to back it up by saying, like, you know, we'll talk to him, but like do it not, you know, in public, which doesn't make any sense because they're on the hills.
Yeah.
And, you know, other than that, you know, let's fast forward to the party, the murder mystery party. I think
it's a cute idea, by the way.
Great freaking idea.
I think it's so cute.
And I loved Brandon's outfit.
I think he is so adorable with Danny. He's obsessed with her.
He really is. And he is so his father's son and Pamela. And like their love, like that passion love.
Yes, they're all over each other. Well, he's more all over her than she is all over him.
Yeah.
He needs someone to like equal that, I think, because I think he's searching for that in Danny, and she's just like very hesitant with him, which I totally see.
I want to know where it stems from because, you know, that young of an age and that much of a desire to, I hate to say it, but it feels very possessing the woman of like, move in, be mine. And her being a little like apprehensive because, you know, I mean, it sounds like they went through, I mean, I watched first season. They didn't go so into it because it's a young relationship. It's always volatile.
Yeah.
But the way he's going about it is a little intense.
Yeah. He's being a little clingy. And she's really, I think it also, I mean, that always stems from insecurity. So he's insecure about something.
Yeah, it's tough. We have this, you know, we have emotions high, obviously, because Ashley had, I mean, that scene by the graveyard was super intense.
It was.
I
can't imagine that. And having to tell your dad, you know, that you're pregnant when he's not there, you want him there, and then you're doing this on TV and you're pregnant, and it's totally emotional.
It's a lot of vulnerability, and I think also the fact that, you know, she's been through so much with Jason, and she has to be his biggest advocate right now. And his character is so important, and also she must have a lot of fear. Because I don't care what happens. If something happens in your relationship that has really hurt it or shook the foundation, you never want to go back to that moment.
Right.
So you want to constantly tell your partner that you believe that you will, like if they've apologized, you know, or they've, you know, obviously he's sober now. She has to have his back no matter what. But you can see the fear.
You can. But I actually like their relationship too, because I thought it was very, like it got to me a little bit whenever he told her about what Spencer was saying and her reaction to it. I would have reacted the same way, like really hurt and for your partner, because she's like, I've seen how much like work you've done, and she's so proud of him. And he is like, the look on his face was just like, he knew she had his back. Yeah. And I love that too. Yeah. So I actually, and I think Jason is a great guy.
I think Jason is a good guy. I think Jason is somebody though who, you know, we talked earlier about us being defined by these titles.
Yeah.
And I think people who become sober make it this like Jesus Christ thing where it's like, I am doing the best that I can, and they become pretty harsh judges of people who are not sober. And I get it, because there's a vulnerability there, and they don't want to be put in situations to where their sickness and illness, because it is a sickness and illness, they can't be around it.
Right.
And I think the hard part is when you have to make a choice in your life, which many of us have to do, not just with alcohol, but just certain choices of, these friends aren't very good friends for me right now.
Yeah.
And even if you've been friends for years, and you have to let them go.
Totally.
And I think that's what the hard part here is that he's both he and Ashley have been harsh on Spencer and Heidi.
They have.
They were mean.
And I think that's why Spencer and Heidi were so mean back.
Yeah.
I do not think that it was right for Spencer to, you know, attack Jason at that party the way he did, saying, well, why don't you go, well,
you're gonna have a he goes, are you gonna have a relapse now?
Like making fun of it.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was just not cool. And I know a lot of viewers of the show that maybe are sober or have family members that are going through this. That didn't sit well with them, I'm sure, because it didn't sit well with me, and I'm not like I don't really have.
It's definitely not a good look.
No.
But after Spencer was downloading in front of the camera and being interviewed, the one thing that I did think that was interesting was he basically was talking about, I'm trying to think what it was. He was talking about how Jason's like, he's inserting himself in a lot of party situations, right?
Yeah.
And I think that what he was trying to get at is, well, you're showing up to these party events, right? But then you're sitting back and being hypercritical.
Yeah.
And then the question is, well, are you sober or not? Because in that context, there's not very many people who there's chosen sobriety, and then there are people who have hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
And he's newly sober.
He is.
And he's putting himself in some dangerous situations. And I think that where Spencer was trying to get at is, you're putting yourself in the mix, then you're being hypercritical, then you're attacking my wife, and me going like, what the hell, dude? Like, are you sober? What's the deal here?
Yeah.
Because the way Jason's acting, is it's fighting words. I mean, and Ashley, unfortunately, didn't help the situation with the talk about making fun of Heidi, especially during the time where she was wearing, she did the dance and she was in that gold top, and it is what it is. And again, if these type of friends, they're not suiting you, I think Jason and Ashley should take the high road, knowing that they're expecting a child, that they've been in a vulnerable position before. I don't think what Spencer and Heidi did, I think they acted out of line.
Yeah.
But I know that I would probably react pretty hardcore if someone was just constantly picking away at me.
I totally agree with you about judging people. It's not their lives. It's none of their business what Heidi and Spencer choose to do. And thinking back at those past episodes, I do agree that it wasn't any of their business. Asking Heidi, are you going to keep drinking until you're pregnant, or like, what's your plan? I thought,
and that hurts her too.
Totally.
I'm like,
because you're pregnant and she's trying to get pregnant, and that's a whole other thing too. You got to be sensitive with that.
It's a low blow.
It is.
It's a low blow. And again, I have a lot of respect for people who have their spouse's back. I do think that they have to be adults, especially because we've not heard from Ashley and Jason talking about, well, maybe we need to examine our behavior.
Totally.
Spencer and Heidi have. They have. And they actually backed down a bit in their meditation. And
I was just gonna talk about their meditation.
I
really love them.
I do too, and I love a good sound bath. But that guy who started singing, I'm like, bro, just use your bells, your gongs. But him going, you will release the anger. I was like, oh God.
It was a lot.
That was too much.
What else do you expect from Spencer and Heidi?
I love it.
They're so funny.
Oh, they're so great. Well, other than that, I don't know. Any other things to highlight?
I'm trying to think of the different characters. Oh, something that I thought was sweet. I thought Jason painting with Ashley and the girls was kind of cute.
Yeah.
While everyone else, I think like when she went to visit her father, she told him, you don't have to go. And I think he kind of felt bad for not going with her. So then while all the guys were going tubing, he decided to go and paint with the girls, which I thought that was really sweet.
And I have to say, a standout moment for me was Frankie and his wife. They got some camera time.
Can we talk about him falling off the ski lift?
Yes.
I actually have that written in my notes. Frankie falling off the ski lift. LOL.
God. Poor Frankie.
Poor guy.
This guy, Frankie, we're fans and we want more of you, damn it.
He actually spoke out at the Clue party too.
He did.
He was like, it said something about like, this isn't really the place for this and stuff. And
I was like, go Frankie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that pretty much puts a bow on these episodes.
I think so too.
It was good. Well, let us know what you think. It'll be interesting to see where things go coming up. I mean, especially with Audrina and Brody.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I want something. I want something to happen.
I know, it's like a big tease, man.
I know. I feel like it always is. Do you think Brody will ever settle down?
Well, you know what it does is it makes me wonder with Audrina. Like, I just want to see, like, Audrina's always been the girl that's kind of the tease.
Yeah.
And Brody, I think Brody would actually follow through. I just don't know if he would commit.
That's the thing. Wait, okay, so my question for you is, who do you think will settle down first, Justin, Bobby, or Brody?
Oh, that's a good question. You know what? I have to say, these last episodes with Justin, I actually have changed my tune.
Me too.
I'm going to drop the Bobby. I'm going to call him Justin because he's a grown man.
You know, his conversations about having children and stuff.
He's endearing. He's endearing to me.
Yeah.
I really think that I didn't come into my own. I would have looked like I mean, if I had a camera on me in my 20s and my 30s, I was pretty much a douchebag. And I think Justin, you just learn about your life, and he seems like a deep soul. And in the coming episodes, I think he visits his father.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to that.
Me
Some
too.
Depth. Cool.
I'm excited. And you know what? Last thing I have to say is, The Hills is not dead. Like this series is actually like,
it's got
there's
a heart.
Something there.
There's a pulse.
And these people, whether they just haven't changed at all or they just always know how to bring the drama, I don't know what it is, but it's almost as addicting as it was 15 years ago.
And Heidi and Spencer, I love you guys.
We love you.
You are relationship goals. Thank you so much for tuning into the Seraphine podcast. Chelsea, thank you as always for listening, dishing, and watching with me. It's always such a good time. Let us know your opinions, any thoughts, feelings on the Hills gang. And with that, we will sign off. See you later.
Bye.